Hey everybody, it's zjayfi here. I just wanted to go ahead and do a video addressing some of the other issues that are going on in the game. Some of this is related to Gear 2.0, some of it isn't related to the Gear 2.0, and talk about what I think Skyscraper is going to do to the game. I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to be this magic cure-all that is going to bring everybody back to the game for good. I don't know. I think there's some really deep-seated issues that need to be addressed with this game before they think adding new content is going to fix it. And one of the main problems that I'm seeing online right now in the Facebook, a lot of people are talking about it. My clan people are talking about it, and that's just that heroic is astonishingly easy, whether you're in a group or whether you're solo. In the background right here now, you can see me just smoking my way through in heroic, no problem. Solo. So heroics used to be scaled for 4. No matter how many people you had in the group, so it was very, very difficult to solo them. Well, now they've changed that to legendary. So legendary is the only one that's scaled for 4 when you're solo. I don't understand why they can't just go ahead and give us access to the scaling. If I want to play a heroic scaled for 3 or scaled for 4 by myself, that way I get extra loot. I get more loot drops, right? What would be the problem with that? I mean, you'll note as I go through this mission here in the background that almost no loot drops at all. Like I think 3 or 4 pieces drop through the whole mission, and that's because it's scaled for 1 person. It's ridiculously easy. Of course, I do go down right here as I say it's ridiculously easy. But I honestly think one of the biggest problems that they could address is just give us access to the scaling. Now, legendary should remain the way it is. Legendary is supposed to be scaled for 4 and insanely difficult. I get that. Yeah, that would be an easy fix to the game right now. Rainbow loot, not such an easy fix, and I don't think that their whole meta or their whole idea of, okay, we'll give you 1 attribute to match the core attribute is going to fix the problem. The core attributes themselves are part of the problem in that they force you to go a certain direction with a piece. For example, sometimes there's no synergy between the talents and the core attribute that a certain piece runs. You'll end up getting talents like tech support on an all red Providence piece, or you'll get talents like glass cannon on an all blue Gila. You know what I mean? And some of the talents, I think, in order to fix this, some of the talents could roll natively exclusively on certain colors. So, I mean, if Unbreakable is obviously an armor talent, let Unbreakable roll exclusively on blue core items. Let Glass Cannon run exclusively on red core items. Let Tech Support run exclusively on yellow items. And then if you want to roll it, you can still roll it onto a certain piece, but I think that would make our farming and our lives a lot easier. If I'm looking for this wonderful Providence Vigilance backpack, I don't have to find a million tech support Providence backpacks before I find the one that I'm looking for. It would help with, it would help with a lot of issues if some of these talents ran with certain colors or ran on certain brand sets. If it was more likely to drop that way, or if it was exclusive to that. And that brings me to the next thing. Some of the named talents have no synergy with their brand set. For example, the Wyvern Claws Out holster. Like, I understand why they did that the way that they did. Because, alright, it's designed for a shield build, which means you can only use your pistol and you can melee people with the shield. So it does make sense. And the shield is a skill, so it does make sense. I understand what they wanted us to do with it, but now that's the only thing we can do with it because of the way their Gear 2.0 system is designed. There's nothing else you could do with it unless you re-rolled it to a weapon talent or something, or unless you did something. You can't really go crazy outside the box with it because it's a skill brand set. It doesn't have any synergy with Wyvern. It has its use as a piece, but it doesn't have any synergy with Wyvern. Why do these things have to roll on these brands? The Forge holster, R&H is a self-healing brand, for a skill brand. Why would I need this with a shield? If I can heal myself, the first brand attribute is 20% healing. If I can heal myself, what do I need a shield for? These are the things that are plaguing the game, and it's things that need to be addressed. That there's no synergy between the talents. There's no synergy between the talents and the brands. There's no synergy between the named items and the brands. Some of the brands seem to be designed as sort of like hybrid. Like, for example, Grupo Sombra comes to mind. All right, so the first one is critical hit damage, but the second one is explosive damage. So I'm not sure if they're thinking that I'm going to run a critical Seeker Mine hybrid, or if they're thinking I'm going to run a Merciless, but the Merciless don't have the explosive holstered talent anymore. It creates an explosion. So I'm after stacks, I mean, I guess it, and it wouldn't even work with the new Ravenous, because that one is not based on explosive damage. It's based on weapon damage. So I'm not really sure where they're going with some of these brand sets, and they're about to introduce more brand sets, more and more brand sets, rather than fixing the old ones. More, that's part of the problem with the seasons, is they're just dumping all this new stuff into the game. And I talked about a little bit of this in my Gear 2.0 video. Things like Future Perfect, which are they're good in theory, but it's like, okay, I don't want to stack skill tiers on my DPS build, and the only way to have enough weapon damage to actually kill somebody is to have some DPS. So maybe they're trying to boost hybrids. I'm not sure where they're going with it. I'm just saying that there's no synergy between brand sets, talents, weapon cores, and these things need to be looked at. They need to be adjusted. Same thing with the mod slots, although they are addressing that issue. Along the line of talents, some of these talents are completely worthless. Like Energize, Unstoppable Force, Efficient, Calculated, Protector, Clutch, Galvanize. All these talents are in the game, but no one's really using them. I don't personally use them, except for maybe one really extreme niche situation. You might want to use one of those talents. I actually did find a use for Unstoppable Force the other day, but it's one build out of 32 builds that I carry across 3 characters. 36 builds, I should say, that uses Unstoppable Force, and it's a fun build. It's not something I'm going to take into a raid with me or a legendary. My solution for this is that some of these second tier talents could go onto the knee pads or the gloves or the mask, along with some of the other left behind talents from Gear 1.0. Talents like Critical, Vital, Skilled, and this would give us some of the holstered talents from the weapons, maybe like Rooted, just to give us a little bit of an additional spice onto our builds, a little bit of additional seasoning. They've taken all the weapon talents out of the game, so the only thing you can have is a primary, or all the secondary and tertiary talents out of the game, like Allegro and things like that. So the only thing you can actually have right now is you can have 3 skills, or you can have one on your 3 talents. You can have one on your chest, one on your backpack, and then one on your weapon. You can have 4 if you're willing to use an exotic piece, and that's it. So giving us a 5th slot with some of the softer, I shouldn't say softer, I don't know what you call them, with some of the weaker talents from Gear 1.0 would be a perfect, open it back up. Just give us a little bit more room to play, or even put them on mask and knee pads. I don't see how that's gonna break the Gear 2.0 system. I'm running out of time here, but I do have a few more things that I want to talk about that are wrong with the game right now. So seasons, I don't know what the feeling is, but I know I have never raced home from work excited to get on Division 2 so I can go grind a manhunt, or so I can go grind a global event for an exotic cache. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's not like the long-term fix that they were looking for. And quite frankly, I don't think Skyscraper is going to be this long-term replayable mode that they're looking for either. I hear people clamoring over and over and over again for survival. I think the developers would be wise to listen to that, but they've already said that they're not going to do that. I don't know. I want to wait to see this skyscraper mode before I make a decision on it. But based on what I've seen so far, this does not sound like the replayable. Oh, I can't wait to get home and play skyscraper type mode that they're thinking it's going to be. It sounds to me like just another grind, and once you've done it and collected the exotics from it, people are going to get tired of it, just like they did with the seasons. Now, seasons are really cool in that they introduce new gear to grind for, they introduce new brand sets, they introduce all kinds of new ideas, but that only lasts a couple of weeks. The new manhunt missions at the end of the season are pretty great. I gotta give that the new version of Tidal Basin and the new version of Roosevelt were really cool. I like that a lot. But yeah, once you reach season level 100 and you've gotten everything out of all the caches, there's really no. I don't want to come back and grind a polarity event or whatever it is. So I don't know what their long-term solution is for the replayability here. But I would say that rather than focusing on long-term replayability, if they were to go ahead and focus on some of these other issues that I've been talking about, which are really plaguing the game since the removal of Gear 1.0. Gear 1.0 building was an art form. Everything had to be just perfect, and it felt like once you got everything into place, it was like you had just completed the world's greatest jigsaw puzzle. This does not give me the sense of satisfaction in building, in engagement, in synergy. There's just nothing to it other than grinding higher and higher attributes onto your pieces. So I'm all out of time here already. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Let me know what you think Skyscraper is going to do for this game and whether or not you think it's going to be able to bring this game back to where they want it to be. Talk to you later.